Welcome today to Between Two Cards. This is an online series that we've designed to keep the Otterbein community up to date with our alumni and how their Otterbein experience has influenced them over their lives. And today I'm joined by Danny Roberts, who is Danny Holbrook when she was a student at Otterbein, played basketball there as well. So welcome, Danny.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me between two cards.
That's great to have you here. So I remember watching you play a lot over the years, so it's kind of nice to get to sit down and talk to you a little bit here. So.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? What are you doing for a living?
I work for Cardinal Health. So I work specifically kind of broadly in their quality and regulatory affairs group, which kind of sits under legal and compliance.
How are you doing? You're working from home though. How's that going?
It's going okay. It took a little bit of a transition. I have a 4-year-old son named Hudson, and I have twin daughters who just turned 2 in February named Arden and Emerson. And my particular role is to ensure that our hospitals and our health systems are able to get what they need to treat these COVID-19 patients, in particular those that are intubated and on ventilators. And so I've been working a ton of hours and trying to balance that with being a mom and taking care of the house. And there are days that I really, really suck at both. But it's been an interesting experience. And while we've been working really hard, I've also had some fun moments with them. My son learned to ride his bike. We're doing a lot more arts and crafts and things like that. So it's been fun to kind of experience some of the things that maybe we wouldn't have been experiencing had we been on our normal, gone from the house from 7:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So it's been fun.
So tell me a little bit about your Otterbein experience. What did you take from Otterbein, from your education at Otterbein, into the real world, beside the fact that you kept the Cardinal name?
Right. Yeah, right. It was a very easy transition. But I think for me, it wasn't necessarily a particular class, or I majored in marketing. So there wasn't really any particular class that was a takeaway for me. But I think that the power of networking and maintaining relationships and the things that you can learn and be provided exposure to and things like that are things that I don't think you know when you're in college, but have been things that have been extremely powerful in helping me through my career. And I think particularly I also got my MBA from Otterbein, and I ultimately ended up in my first job because I was just kind of randomly talking to some people who were in my class who had already had established careers and things like that. And I said, I have no idea what I want to do. And they shared with me a role that I'd never even heard of. And it ended up being, okay, well, I guess I'll just try. And it's what introduced me to healthcare. I've been in healthcare my entire career, and I couldn't find a better, fitting for the things that I enjoy to do and the things that are important to me. So I think networking, sharing, and not being afraid to open up are all things and tools that I developed while at Otterbein.
How did sport help you prepare?
Sure. For me, and I think that this is probably true of any student athlete, because you don't just start playing sports in college, but in college is where you really kind of get into the nitty gritty. And one of the things I think has been so instrumental for me in both my professional and personal life is time management. And not only time management, which is kind of Captain Obvious, right? You're juggling lots of different things. And when you go to work and you have kids, or you get married, or you own a home, whatever it is that fits your life, those are things that you have to learn to do, is to balance all those pieces. As well, the perseverance that comes with pushing through difficult times. And you're going to be told no, even when you're in a job, right? And you work and you spend all your time putting something together, and at the end of the day, it doesn't come to fruition, or somebody doesn't like it, or you have to edit it. And I think just that athlete's mentality of not letting it get you down and saying, I'm going to prove you wrong, I think is so helpful and powerful once you kind of get out into the real world and you're no longer in college. So I think it's a huge advantage to a student athlete to really think about those things as they're going through that experience, and how will this apply later, because you don't think about that, right? You don't think about that when you're in that moment and you're mad at your coach because they're making you run again and you don't want to, but that all really helps. And it really is a powerful thing for you to carry through your life.
Absolutely. So you also coached by Connie Richardson, who's been there for a long time. So
yes,
you have to have a great Connie story.
Yes, love Connie. Still, she's still on my phone as Coachy. I can't even call her Connie. She's been a great, great support system in my life, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And one of my favorite memories of hers, and I think it had to have been the same year, probably my junior year, but I forget where we had gone. It was, of course, conveniently one of the furthest away colleges, and we lost. And this was the year that we were really, really good again, the same year that we ended up beating Wilmington. And at that time, which I don't know if it was the same still or if Diana still does it or not, but this was during Diana, the current coach's timeline as well. And after the games, the starters would ride home in the bus, or not the bus, in the van with Coach. And we would stop for something to eat and whatever. She was so, so angry with us. And so we all kind of get back into the van after we get Wendy's or whatever it was, and we just sit there for a while, and she doesn't come out. And so one of my teammates ended up jumping into the driver's seat of the van, and we moved it so she couldn't see us. And we hid the van because we were like, maybe if she, I don't know if our goal was to make her laugh or to make her think we'd been kidnapped, so maybe she would like love us again. I don't know what it was, but we hid. And we saw her come out and kind of look around, and then she spotted us, and then we just did like multiple laps and figure eights in the parking lot, so she couldn't ever get into the van. And it worked. I have to say it worked. She got into the van, and she wasn't mad at us anymore. And but that's just kind of, when I think of her, I think of the kindness and the humor and the, it is just a game. She pushes you, but you're a person, and the friendship that we had developed with her during the time that she was our coach, and even now, I think is really awesome. And that's just one of those things where we kind of knew how to work her a little bit and get her so she wouldn't be mad at us. But that's probably one of the funniest things that I'll ever remember. It's not funny to people now because they weren't there, but in that moment, just being able to see that, it was hilarious.
I can tell you coaches need those moments too, because sometimes we get caught up in that stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice to be kind of brought back down and reminded of it. Well, that's perfect. Well, thank you so much for doing this and for taking the time, and hopefully your kids have made it through their nap and that kind of stuff. So, in Star Wars.
They're still sleeping. They don't talk too loud.
That's good. Well, thank you so much again for joining us.
Absolutely.
And thank everybody for joining us here on Between Two Cards. Be on the lookout for more videos and more things coming out on social media. If you have suggestions for future guests, then send an email to career@otterbein.edu. And thanks again.